them to sing the theme. I ask them to sing the theme even if they're playing free voices. If they are eager to follow, of course, my advice, look, to play like two voices and sing the theme, one of them, or to play free voices and sing the theme, one of them. First of all, when we are playing fugue, of course, we are analyzing very thoroughly all themes, all subjects or counter subjects, all episodes. In episodes, which parts of motifs from themes or counter subjects are used to make those sequences. It is thoroughly analyzed. We are trying to analyze, and more we play, more details we find. Especially, for example, if there is in one voice a small motif, then that motif repeats in other voice, yes? I explain about the fugues, that fugue is like life. The main subject is your main connection in your life. Like, look with your family, let's say. Yes, it is subject that is very important, and whenever it comes, everybody has to hear it. Even the people who are listening to it, not musicians, they have to know this is that message. That is the most important part of fugue. But there are less important connections, like with your friends and peers, also important, but not less much. It's like a counter subject. You have to follow it all the time, whenever, and following, you can count it, you sing it through. Yes, but what is very exciting about fugues too, they are very brief connections. They are like a long note in one voice, and long note in the small motif here, and it repeats a couple of times in other voices right away. And I say, look, it is like you saw something in this, so you met something in the street, you just passed by. But it was a small connection, and it is present in your fugue. Look, it comes only once, yes, and never comes back again. But it is that small connection that life is full of. Yeah, there is such kind of a theme in the prelude of this one, the F minor second volume. There is this is once. That theme comes once only in that prelude and never comes back. But yeah, it is very connected to life. Yes. Besides that, you asked me about the voices. It's very interesting. Sometimes we have to sing middle voices. Usually, when it's a subject in the middle voice, it's harder to hear. We have to work specially on it in middle voices. Yeah. But what is interesting, even if there isn't a subject there, even if there is there are sometimes jewels in those middle voices. One of my adult students came and he was playing My Ship Gazing, yes, that aria from cantata, and he said in one place in the middle, I didn't remember that place, which one was it? You saw this is probably typo here, sounds really very dissonant. And then we sang the middle voice of it, of that part that was sounding very dissonant, and it brings you to tears. Mm-hmm. It became so beautiful. In this nocturne number 10, in the middle section, in the middle voice was one syncopation that usually they don't even pay attention. We don't pay attention, sometimes even repeat it or something. Yeah, but look, if you listen to this middle voice syncopated note, the whole phrase will become much more heartwarming. It starts. But it makes this middle section so unique and so expressive. Yes, those are the middle voices that we usually play. Or, for example, when we are having the structure, I always ask the bass to have its own line. Own line. When it's seventh bringing to the new key, that is the most expressive part usually. You see, the bass has its own line. Then when we have a middle, the chords in the middle, look, in the chords of the middle, I also ask to differentiate the top voice of the chords. Look, I always, in any hand, right, left, doesn't matter. When we have an interval to note something together, or a chord 3 or more, I explain to them, look, it's like a person. When you meet someone, where do you look to recognize that person? To the feet or to the face? Yes, face is its top note. And here, when we say E, G, we have to hear it. D, A flat, E, G. See how soft I'm playing other notes? It's already the next layer, yes? And above all of it, I have a melody. Look, I have a bass, I have middle voice, I have a melody. Look, it's already 4 layers I have. Bass, the top voice of the left hand, the other voices of the left hand, plus my melody. Here, the piece doesn't need even to be polyphonic like fugue or something to have all these layers. When we are pianists playing 2 hands together, it's already having 2 parts of it. It's like a duality. And look, whenever we have these layers in music, more layers is more interesting. It's like the paintings of old masters. Whenever you have a portrait, you have a portrait of a person, then there's an arc above. There are trees behind. There are mountains much farther than that. And that person who is in the portrait, you can see it. It's very often he or she, they are holding a book or a flower in the hand, which comes out from the picture, from the painting. Look, all these layers. Look, it's a perspective in art. And all these ones we have in music. We are very lucky because we are playing many voices at the same time. And in this sense, I also wanted to tell about the duality in music, like in vertical line, in vertical and in horizontal. Vertical, it's clear. Yes, vertical, it's just there. We play 2 hands, it's already something different. And it's always better to hear that top voice of the left hand, and it will become a voice. If you just play all the notes of the chord of the left hand with the same volume, it will not become a voice. But it's as soon as you differentiate its top voice and play all other voices softer, it becomes a voice. And it is a very interesting voice, always interacting with your right hand. It's very interesting. Now, you can have many pieces like that. You can have like variations, heightened variations, F minor, when there are many layers there. It's clear. But what is also very interesting, it's a duality in horizontal line. I often say to my students, look, you know what? Your beats are talking to each other. For example, if you have D major prelude from Prelude and Fugue's first volume, this one, look, sometimes while learning them, I say, look, first line, like you said something and answer. Look, you already have that horizontal dialogue there. But then you can have a different dialogue here too. It's not only here, it's in F major prelude also, in many of them. Look, you can have dialogue between halves of the measures, not only between your beats, quarter notes, but bigger sections, like this. You see, every half talks to each other. I wanted also to show you, then, for example, third movement of Haydn Sonata, F major. Look, this one. The third movement, it's also a conversation in a dialogue. But what is interesting, look, it's dialogue. It's not that I'm asking same question and the next measure answers the same answer. I ask same question, and look, it's a dialogue in progression. I ask one thing, the next measure answers me different thing. Then I say different thing, the next measure answer. You see, because everything is changing in life. It's never the same. Yeah, and it's what is music? It's life sounding in time, where it always goes forward. It will be. You see, it's a dialogue in progression, and it's always very interesting to hear it with duality. Look in horizontal,